What's up, fam? Jordan Carroll here, the remote job coach, with another tutorial on how to use ChatGPT for your job search. If you are new here, we are doing a tutorial series on how you can find your dream job in a lot less time, leveraging artificial intelligence, a technology called ChatGPT. If you need help understanding what ChatGPT is, there will be a video here. If you need help with understanding where we're at in this process with creating a cover letter, you want to watch the resume video first. So there is a resume tutorial on how to create a resume, and now we're going into how to create a customized cover letter for a resume and a job description. Okay, so let's dive in here. From the resume video, I had this person called Sarah Johnson, who is a fictitious person, but nonetheless very convincing that it's a real person. And from that, I wanted to create a custom cover letter based on a job description as well that was a good fit for this person, Sarah Johnson. So first and foremost, one of the ways that I really like to use ChatGPT for new use cases when I don't necessarily know exactly what I need or what I need to give it is I will just ask it. I'll say, hey, can you do this? And then it'll say, of course I can do this. So here are some things that I need. And I said, what are all the things you need to make it perfect? So for a customized cover letter, these are the things that you're going to want. You're going to want a job description for the position that you're applying for, including the title, company name. You're going to want a copy of your resume with all the different things that are there. So again, we created that in a previous video. And then you're going to want any specific instructions, preferences you have on the tone, the style, the format, all that sort of stuff, as well as information about company culture. And then you're going to want information about the company and industry that might be relevant. So then it can basically create this custom cover letter. Now I'm going to show you a few different thought processes I had when I was creating this tutorial about how I was wanting to create it, and just use everything that I show you to spark ideas in your own head, because again, how to use ChatGPT is really up to you, and it's up to the questions that you ask it, and the output that you're going to get may be very different than mine based on slight tweaks in the questions or prompts. One of the first things I wanted to ask is I have my own personal template for a cover letter. As a career coach, I have a very specific way that I like cover letters to be written. However, I just thought to myself, well, let me see what ChatGPT has. So if you're not a career coach like me, or you don't have access to certain prompts or cover letters from the start, like you could start from scratch by asking, hey, do you have any recommendations for writing a cover letter? Or can you provide multiple ideas? What are the templates that you would use? And I actually thought this was pretty cool. It gave me 3 common cover letter templates you can use, one of them being an introduction template, one of them being a YU template, and one of them being the story template. The cool thing about this in the larger, broader application is that anytime that you want to do something with ChatGPT, let it give you options of how it would create something if you don't know how exactly you want it to be created. If you do know exactly how you want it to be created, like if you have a format for a cover letter, I recommend starting with that, right? But this was kind of cool just to see, hey, there's an introduction template where you start with the introduction, you provide a summary, and you express your excitement. And there's a couple different ways you can take it from here. One is you can give it this whole template and say, hey, use the introduction template to write a cover letter for me based on this job description in my resume. You can look at the YU template, which is start by highlighting what you know about the company, discuss your relevant skills, and emphasize why you'd be a good kid. Like, this is a really good one. I like where they're going with this, and I really like the examples too, because they actually give you quite a bit here that you can just plug in. You can literally just plug your stuff in. I would also recommend getting a little bit more specific. Like, sometimes the advice that ChatGPT is going to give you is still not going to be the best. It's going to be good as a starting point if you have nothing, but it may not be like the final thing that you want to submit or send to somebody, right? Like, I think there would be a little bit more detail you'd want to add into some of these, and I'll show you my template in a moment, which will also be available in the description. I will make sure to add that in the prompts that you can download for free. And then there's like ones like this, the story template. Start by introducing yourself, tell a specific story, provide a concrete example of a relevant challenge you faced, sum up why it would be a great fit for the role. Yeah, like these are good. Like, these are really good, and then I love how they give you examples, and you can just you can start with just plugging your stuff into their examples, and that's one way to do this, right? Or you can say, hey, the company's name is this, the industry is this, can you please fill it in for me? These are the skills. So you feed that stuff into it, and then it will give it to you again. But it's just as easy to snag this template and then put it on a Google Doc and insert your stuff the way that you want it. Now, what you do after that is you need to give it the resume and the job description. This is where things get a little funky with ChatGPT sometimes, and hopefully this will get better over time, is the congruency, the continuity between the requests and then what it's giving you. So I often like to ask it things like, hey, I'm ready to give you this. Are you going to be able to do this? Just to remind it, it says, yes, I can create that based on the resume and job description. So I said resumes here, and then this is just some of the stuff from the first resume that was given to me. This isn't the best one, but I just wanted to like give it some information. And it said, thank you for that. Give me the job description. I gave the job description. And then what it did was it actually like started to kind of provide, this was a weird part, right? Like it provided a summary almost of the job description. So I was like, wait a second, like, can you please create 3 different cover letters that match my resume experience and the job description? And it says, of course, try this. And it gave me 2, not the 3. So it didn't actually use the templates that it brought up earlier. So this is again where you become the editor of this, and you really have to be aware of the pitfalls of ChatGPT and certain things that it's not going to be great at on first try. Now, again, this technology is going to get better and better with time. So at some point, some of this stuff might be cleaned up. But for now, continue to like really edit deeply whatever it is that you put in here. Okay. But this first one, dear hiring manager, I'm ready to express my strong interest, director of marketing position with over 7 years experience, including at least 3 years in this. I'm confident that I have the necessary skills, creative storyteller with experience in comfortable in it. Like this is good. It's a little long, first and foremost, and it also, I like to have bullet points that still show the relevant achievements and things that someone has done. And I'm going to show you exactly my format in just a moment. And then the second one was like got cut off, like it just didn't finish. So this will also happen sometimes with ChatGPT, is it will just cut things off. So then I said, please use these 3 templates, the ones that were already above, and I re-gave it those templates to remind it, hey, like these are the ones that we want to use. And I said, use the resume and job description provided. And then another weird thing happened is it didn't fill in the position name, the company name, or any of these things. It just gave me like a half-written cover letter thing. It didn't even finish it. Just gave me 1. And so then I realized, okay, like it's obviously like messing up here. There's something that we need to like restart. And I said, let's restart over. You're missing the mark. And then I retold it. I'm like, I'm going to give you a template for my cover letter, my resume, and the job description, all within 1 prompt. And this is something I kind of like to test out, is like, how much can I give ChatGPT before it feels overwhelmed? And then how many questions in a row will it still have continuity from previous questions? Because like right here, I can kind of make the assumption that we're too far into the conversation for it to really remember what it is we were talking about at the top, or it just doesn't have that continuity. So now I gave them everything. I said, here's the resume. Here is this is a long one, see? Here's the job description. And then here's the cover letter template. So I gave it everything. And this is my actual template where it's like, dear hiring manager, and then you start with a personalized hook. You talk about what your intention is with the cover letter is to stand out because you're a good fit. And you talk about your skills and the industry. And based on the job description, you can make an immediate impact. And then you feature 3 different past achievements that are related to keywords in the job description. And then you kind of have a call to action here at the end. And then this statement's really good. If this role's been filled, no worries. I'd still be interested in understanding how my talents might be an asset in the future for company name. I really like ending it with that, because then if it's filled, you still have that invitation for them to contact you. And then I said, hey, can you please combine that? And it did like a really long thing here in 3rd person. So it was like, Sarah Johnson's this highly qualified candidate, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, like I see what it's going for, but please write that in the 1st person. And then it wrote it in the 1st person. And I think this is about as close as we're going to get to what it's going to give us. So I have a couple recommendations. One, you can even just start with some of the main templates that we had at the top and give it some of that information to fill out, and then you can fill it out in this specific cover letter. So I will have I'll have an actual, let me see if I have these prompts. So in this prompts document that I'm going to give you for free, I'm going to put all of these prompts in it. So then what you can do is you can just use a separate Google Doc. Let me just put this in the frame here. What you can use is like a separate Google Doc Let me find the cover letter section. I'm going to be working on this prompt doc over time too to try to make it better as we go. But there's a lot of stuff in here. Okay, so for the cover letter, like this is my version, right? Dear hiring manager, and then you start with this, you do this, you do this. So what you could do is you could almost like go by section as opposed to saying, hey, do the whole thing. You could do it section by section where you paste this in and then you give it the different parts of the company that you want to feature. You give it some of your skills you want to feature. You give it some of the role information you want to feature. You just kind of piecemeal it together. Or you can take one of the full templates like this and just say, hey, write me one based on this job description and resume. So you're gonna have to play with this, but this is like the main thing I want you to think about is how you can use pre-done templates to give to ChatGPT, how you can use the job description and the resume information to give to ChatGPT to get the output that you're looking for, and then bring it into a separate Google Doc and then edit it. ChatGPT is going to get you 75 to 90% of the way there, right, for the most part. Then what you do is that last 10, 15%, you make those little tweaks, you make those little edits, you make it really sound like you and make it comfortable for you. Then you have your cover letter. What you're going to want to do with that cover letter is make that into a PDF, and you want to send that in with your resume and maybe even a video application directly to hiring managers, directly to recruiters in the application process, because that gets seen a lot more than just applying online. You can still apply online, but I would also take that extra step to send to their email and then also send them a LinkedIn request. The more that you can network and get involved with the company prior to doing that, which I have a whole bunch of other videos on my channel about that, the easier it's going to be. But this is the way to create a cover letter. So make sure to check out the rest of the tutorials on the playlist, and we'll talk soon. Keep wandering. You're not lost.